Hello everyone, welcome to GBS TV. This is Chungu Jamii, the station and the program where we bring you everything to do with family, society, parenting, divorce, separation, love and marriage. Today we are on a particularly different path, and this is the most important, I think, for you to survive in all the ones that have already been mentioned, and this is emotional intelligence. It is really paramount and fundamental in our lives as we relate with other people. With me in studio, I have a lady who is going to be speaking to us on this particular topic in depth, and she's going to be telling us why emotional intelligence is so paramount to our daily lives. My name is Betty Akuku. Welcome and enjoy the show. Welcome, my dear. Please introduce yourself to our viewer.
Good morning, viewer. My name is Pauline Wanje. I'm a marriage and family therapist. Karibu to the show.
Wow. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Time.
Thank you.
Emotional intelligence. When I think about this, what I know is that people dwell more on, IQ. And everybody wants to work well and study well and gain everything they can in terms of property and material and what they need to survive. But hardly are people concerned about emotional intelligence. But when I think about it broadly, then emotional intelligence is so paramount and fundamental in our day-to-day lives, because we are humans, we are social beings, we need to relate, and we don't need mathematics to relate, we don't need science, we don't need, psychology and many of those other things to relate, So you say that we need emotional intelligence. What is this? What is this?
Like just you've said, Betty, initially and for many years, people have really focused on IQ, intellectual content. And yes, people have gone back to school. People have papers. People are doing very well intellectually. But look at relationships today. Relationships are crumbling down. Sorry. Why? Because we've lacked the most important component that keeps relationships and that maintains relationships, which is emotional intelligence.
Keeps and maintains.
Keeps and maintains. And in fact, if you want success in your relationships, then you need to pursue emotional intelligence. What is it? It's just like we were talking about emotions. It's having some intelligence on emotions. Daniel Goleman, the author of a book on emotional intelligence, says that it's the ability to recognize, recognize, and understand the emotions in you and emotions in other people.
Okay. And
the ability to use that awareness to manage relationships and manage your behavior. What does it mean? That, like for example, if I asked you, how do you know you are angry? Majority of people will tell you, I don't understand. I don't know what I will see to make me feel that I'm angry. And that's the intelligence that we are looking at. Because, like for example, emotions have really pushed people to success and have brought people down. So emotional intelligence is that ability to, first of all, understand your own emotions and understand the emotions around the people around you, and then use that awareness to manage your behavior and manage the relationships around you.
Relationships begin from the family level.
Yes.
Where there is a husband and wife, and there are children.
Yeah.
There are also parents and children. Before we get to the office, where there is a boss and staff. And you say it's a way of keeping, you must recognize and also know how to keep and maintain. When you're a boss, the one who manages other people, the probability is you're probably more educated. Yeah. You have worked harder and you have been able to attain this position. But there are people here who are lower in you, who are lower with many other, there are many reasons that have made them under you. Like they're probably less educated. They cannot get to the level where you are. But you have to be with these people in order to deliver on your objectives and goals. And you need to relate with them in the right way. So for lack of emotional intelligence, you either make up this business or destroy this business. Let's start from the family level where relationships begin.
Yeah, like for example, you are very right, Betty, because we are saying relationship starts at the very basic, at the family unit, and the family system. And look at a mother parenting a small child. When a child cries and the baby is throwing tantrums, what will the mother be quick to do? To calm down and to tell the baby to stop crying. But the baby is crying because maybe emotionally he's very disturbed, because maybe a need that needed to be met is not met. So when we shut down those emotions at that level of a child, of an infant, how else will that person connect with his own emotions even in adulthood? Look at families, look at parenting teenagers, especially when at the peak of teenage, that's when the emotions really show their true colors. What do parents do? Either they shy away from the emotions that are expressed, or they put them down. So family is key, especially in emotional intelligence. And we are saying we shall be talking about 5 competencies of emotional intelligence. We shall be looking at them in depth so that we can understand how does the family influence emotional intelligence. We are saying if you want to succeed in your relationships, whether parent-child relationship, whether a couple relationship, whether a workplace relationship, whether with your neighbors, then you need to pursue emotional intelligence. And unfortunately, we are not born with emotional intelligence.
Yes, that's
it's
what I was
a learned
to.
behavior. Yeah,
yes,
it's something.
Is
that
it something
learned.
We acquire? Are we born with it? Where do we get it from? Because a small child, like you gave an example, is crying.
Yeah.
And what the mother comes in to do mostly is shut up.
Yes.
You know, you're making noise. Why? Without finding out. But Pauline, sometimes this baby is in the age where they have not learned how to speak yet. You know, how do you get to their level and understand, you know, what they really want? As a mother, it may be easy. But when this baby is crying, you know, what are you supposed to do exactly? Because you said you were suppressing the emotions and they may never have a place to bring it up.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you encouraging that it is okay when they cry? So what are you supposed to do? This is a way to let out the emotions. Do you let them just cry and this is a way you connect?
Like, for example, if we were, as a parent, if you are emotionally intelligent and a baby is throwing tantrums, a baby is, you know, angry, is crying, is shouting, instead of you putting the baby to be quiet, how about trying to understand, even as small as the baby is, trying to understand what is the matter? Because majority of us as parents, we don't get to the core of the issue or the behavior.
We just want to solve.
We want to solve. We want to just solve what is presenting. But the underlying could be maybe the baby just wanted to be changed. For example, the diaper is full and the baby is feeling wet. Yeah.
Yes.
The only language that this baby knows is crying and shouting for help. But if the mother is not keen, and this is where emotional intelligence comes in, if the mother is not keen, then she will miss out. And again, she will not model emotional intelligence in the baby.
Sometimes teenagers just go silent.
Yeah.
You're not sure what they're thinking about, whether they're unhappy about something, what is going on in their mind, you know? And this is not how they have been growing up. So you get so upset and you want to get it from them what is happening. Is it okay to just insist, you must tell me what it is? Is that also not caring about the emotions?
Right now, I think we will be talking about the 5 competencies that I've said. One competence is self-awareness. Self-awareness is that you understand yourself fully. You know who you are before you get to know the other person. You are a parent of a teenager, for example, and this teenager has been, you know, outgoing, very social, but all of a sudden the teenager has shut down, withdrawn, the teenager is keeping to himself. The mother or the parent will usually get angry. But we are saying, instead of you getting angry and bursting out with anger, how about you putting yourself into the shoes of your teenager and trying to understand how life is like for that teenager? It could be the mood swings that are very normal at teenage. It could be maybe the child is going through some emotional pain. So when you empathize, which is one of the competencies of emotional intelligence, when you empathize, you're like, wow, I don't know what has really made you withdraw, what has made you so quiet nowadays. It's not like you used to be like this before. I'm curious what is happening in your life. You are trying to empathize with your teenager, and the teenager is going to open up. Mommy, you know what? I had a boyfriend who has ghosted me. That's the language nowadays. I have a boyfriend who has dumped me. And you know, you'll get to feel the pain. Wow, it's okay. It's okay. I can understand. And it's normal to feel, because what you're trying to do is encouraging the teenager to feel the pain. It's normal. When you're ghosted, it's normal. When you're dumped, it's normal to feel bad. It's normal to feel angry. That's where we start. Yes.
So one of the competencies you talked about is awareness.
Yes.
And also
Empathy.
Empathy.
Yes.
Let me get to know from you, Pauline. Intelligence, emotional intelligence. Is it something we are born with, we grow into, we acquire, we learn from where? What is the, where do we get it from?
Unfortunately, I haven't come across an article that says we are born with emotional intelligence. It's learned. We acquire it as we move on. And I tell people, especially when I'm dealing with clients in my therapy room, when I'm dealing with, I'm psychoeducating people, I tell them, some of these behaviors, we need to learn them if we want to be successful in life. So emotional intelligence is not inborn. It's a learned thing. We need to pursue it if you want to be successful in life.
You know, knowing that, I can actually step out to go and learn it, you know. What will lead me to go and learn it if, in my opinion, I am the boss, I am the mom, I am the father here, and I am doing well. I am guarding and managing my family. Whether people are happy or not, I am doing my job. You know, my job is to make sure work is done here and there, and people are paid salary, you know, deadlines are met. If I am doing this and the company is running well, my family, the children are able to go to school, people are satisfied, everything is supplied for, their happiness may come second to me, and I can also tell myself that, you know what, there's no perfect family. We cannot still have this and everything else. One must be lacking, and maybe that happiness and that joy in the family is what is lacking. That happiness and joy in the office is also what is lacking, you know. Why, how do I know that I really, what pushes me to go find this emotional intelligence? What would push me?
Just like you said, maybe assuming you are a parent, you are working, you are sweat out, you know, to provide, to maintain a healthy family in matters health, in matters everything, you know, providing, and you're happy with the way you're doing, but maybe you don't have relationships. I'll tell you for a fact, Betty, there are so many families out there that are thriving materially. They're very rich. But when you get to the core of relationships, those people are very lonely, very lonely. Why? Because it's not about material. It's about how you connect. It's about the intimacy within a particular family. Because what would make me happy? To have all the money in the whole world and be alone?
But you see, that is what some parents are grooming their children to do, to just study and acquire wealth and acquire property and acquire all these things that they need. And because they have succeeded in this part of life, they actually think they're okay, you know. And that's why I'm wondering, why would I just come from my comforts and say I need to learn emotional intelligence? What would push me there? Is it until, because if it is loss, or if someone is sick, and then I have the money, I can pay, I can fly them out for treatment. I don't need you, you know, I don't need so and so. I can still do this. So does it present itself like there are particular people who can do without being emotionally intelligent?
You know, one psychologist called William Gracer says that everything is a choice. Everything is a choice. And you could be there, you're working so hard, and you're happy with materials that you've made, you know, the investments that you've made materially. But looking back at the investment that you've made at home, it's zero. I don't know whether there is any person out there who will be so happy out making money, and when they come back, there is no warmth. There is no, you know, you just lonely, you're feeling lonely because the system is just dead. So what would push me?
There are people who are busy.
Yes. What would push me, if I answer your question, what would push that person out there to pursue emotional intelligence?
Yeah.
Number one, if you are a boss, if you are an employer, that is, if you're working with people, the feedback that you get from people, the productivity within people, it will tell you for a fact that maybe you need to pursue emotional intelligence. For example, if you are a boss and one of your employees has come late, and they're trying to express to you why they came late. Oh, my child got sick in the morning, I didn't have any other option than rush him to the hospital, that's why I delayed and I'm sorry. An emotionally intelligent boss will reprimand the employee. You know, your child is your business.
Yes.
And don't bring issues, family issues into work. Yeah, deal with your family issues. You need to be here by 8, and
those are completely different and separate units.
Exactly. That's an emotionally intelligent boss. But an emotional intelligent boss will be like, I'm sorry that your child got sick. I'm curious how he is doing. Yes, he's well now. Next time when the baby gets sick, could you find someone to take care of the baby while you come and attend some tasks that were very crucial and were very important? That employee will feel felt. We will feel heard, and, you know, will feel empathy from the boss.
Yes.
And you can imagine if that employee had tasks to finish that day, they will sit down and finish without being pushed, without supervision. Because why? At least they are heard, at least they are understood. But an emotionally intelligent boss, if you treat me like that, yes, I will work because I need money, I need to survive. But once I get an opportunity to quit, I will not hesitate.
But the boss will also still hire somebody else, you know?
Yes.
And they will have their work moving on. Now, not unless you have to hire like 100 people in a year, you know, to do the same job, then at that juncture you may feel like, no, something is particularly wrong with me. Just like moms and house helps at home, you know. There are moms who can barely keep a house help for just 1 week,
very
you
true.
know. And you wonder, what is it? And it cannot be that it is all the house helps that are wrong. You know, having 6 house helps in a month, that is like one working less than a week.
Yeah, and this is where we are saying one of the competences of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. That I understand what kind of a person I am. I understand how I deal with my stresses. I understand how my personality influences the relationships. Once I understand that, then I will be able to know, I'm getting angry. So what do I need to do? Do I need to sit here and have a back and forth with an employee? No, I need to go down, calm myself down, and then I come and address the issue when I'm sober, because I'm self-aware. Majority of us are not self-aware, and that's why we will keep, like, for example, a wife or a mother at home will keep changing house helps. Because it's not about the girls that you're bringing into your house. It's about your attitude. It's about your anger management. It's about you. But once you understand that why, and you know, you sit down and reflect and ask yourself, wow, this year I've done 5 house helps. What is happening? Then you reflect and understand what is the trend that has been happening. Then you will see. The issue is not the house helps. The issue could be you. And
how
that's
do I
emotional
look at
intelligence.
someone, Pauline,
Yeah.
and judge that she's very emotionally intelligent, or he lacks, you know, when he lacks the emotional intelligence, I could probably see from his behavior. But I don't expect every person that I meet to always do the things that I want done, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're actually emotionally intelligent, but the things they do don't agree with me, you know. Where is this clear line? Where do I do the separation and say, he or she is emotionally intelligent and this is not. Instead of just considering or judging it from when it fits my view.
Okay. Like for example, I'll give you with the case scenario that I'm handling. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you tell? And that's a very beautiful question. How do you tell someone is emotionally intelligent? I have a couple that I've been taking through premarital counseling.
Yeah.
Looking forward to wedding in August. But as we speak, I don't see the wedding coming. It's like the gentleman is like, apana, I don't think I need to push these two into a marriage. What happened? They went out. They went out for a dinner, and just our Kenyan hotels.
Yeah.
They asked for their meal, and the meal came. But what she had ordered is not what the waiter brought, and she yelled at the waiter. She said very hurting words to the waiter. Well, the boyfriend is just looking and
for serving the wrong food.
Exactly. And it was just, according to the boyfriend, it was just like a small thing. She needed not to have made it a whole mountain. So the guy tells me, he came for an individual counseling, and he tells me, Pauline, I don't think this is the right person for me to marry. Why? Her anger management needs to be worked on. And you know, when the girl was told by the boyfriend why he's pulling out, until she works on her emotions, the girl was like, "Hapana, that was a very small thing." So emotional intelligence. When I point out that, Betty, I think what you did wasn't right. Instead of defending yourself, if you're emotionally intelligent, you will be curious. Oh, tell me, how did I react? How bad was that? And then you will be sorry. I'm sorry if I angered you.
Yeah, it will trigger your emotions like, wow, you mean someone noticed.
Exactly.
So it was a bad thing. But you're even defending yourself to say it was so, it was just petty.
Yeah. So emotionally, how do you pick or how do you note people who are emotionally intelligent? Simply by how they manage their emotions. Like for example, that guy was so quick, and you know, I liked it, and I affirmed him for being observant. Why? Because he observed. That was a very retro thing, but he observed and he saw how this could translate in marriage.
I know.
And how problematic that can be in
and
marriage.
This is a dinner, just a dinner date.
Exactly.
You know?
And you know, he was telling me, this was one occasion we rarely have dinner, we rarely meet. So I'm trying to imagine how her other the other side of her life looks like. If this was just like a one day and she's
where you're supposed to make sure you're controlling.
Exactly.
Yes, you're controlling and keeping everything in check. And then there's this outburst of just a mistake by the waiter. Someone you don't even know.
Yeah. Wow. So how do you tell? Maybe by this, the way someone carries himself emotionally. Like for example, if you are in an argument with an emotionally intelligent person, that person will tell you if they are angry, you know what, Betty, I'm very angry with what you said, allow me time to cool down. That's an emotionally intelligent person, that they know, they can tell that they are getting angry.
I want to get back to that, but first let's take a short break. We are coming back just now. We are talking about emotional intelligence. Are you really emotionally intelligent? The way you manage and carry out yourself emotionally, the way you behave here and there when you are with your friends or family or even at your place of work. Please watch this and follow up and know where you stand. Coming back shortly, our SMS line is 21144. Hello viewer, welcome to
Chungu Jamii.
My name is Tigist Hailu.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ruben West.
I'm Dr. Charles Mukuka.
From the United States of America.
I come from Ethiopia.
From Zambia.
I love Kenya very much.
I love the Kenyan people.
Love is not by confession. Love is by action.
Come on now.
When you are a husband, you are not a husband.
It's very important.
You can count the seeds in an apple, but you can never count the number of apples in a seed.
Her phone is her phone. My phone is my phone.
You only know what you know.
Who forced you?
The more you spend time together, the more stronger you
A woman is like a Bible.
Could tell me that they were born and it wasn't from a female, I'd like to know.
A woman, she's a good asset. And a woman, she's a very, very good investment.
When you're up, your family knows who you are. But when you're down, you'll figure out who your family is.
Thank you so much.
So now it's time for speaking. Everyone, are you ready?
Kwa mtu alikuwa anauma. Si niliwaambia.
Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me.
Kwaheri.
Everywhere, GBS.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. Emotional intelligence is our topic of discussion today, and I'm here with Pauline. Before we went on a break, we were talking about the couple that are now having issues because the lady is seemingly not emotionally intelligent. And earlier you had mentioned that this is something we learn. This is a skill we acquire growing up and living our lives, you know, with people we are relating with. One of my greatest concerns before we get to the 5 components you were giving us about emotional intelligence is if you do not learn this skill and somewhere life catches up with you where you now need it and you must, you know, is it easy and possible to learn such kind of a skill? Because if you are the person, for example, the couple, who the lady just yelled at the waiter, and it sounds to me that the time is too short for them to work on this because the guy said, you know what, let's take a break, work on this. If it works, we can proceed. If it doesn't, this is the end of the road for all these preparations. How possible is it to work on it?
You see, like I mentioned, it's possible, it's doable. It's something that, it's something that we can attain as long as there is a choice within you as a person. Like, for example, this lady, instead of getting defensive, because what she did, she got so defensive. And then, you know, she was trying to justify why she yelled at the waiter.
I get it. And you say it's doable to acquire that skill.
Yes.
Is it sustainable? Because you will always get angry at things. This waiter probably just did a small mistake according to you.
Yes.
Because your emotional intelligence has grown. But now think of a bigger thing. She eventually gets into marriage. And now there's a bigger thing, like they do happen in marriages, you know. Much as she has acquired the skill and learned it, is it sustainable? Will she be able to control?
You know, that brings us to the second competence, the second, the third, yes, because we had looked at self-awareness and empathy. The third one is self-regulation. And that's where you're coming in. Yes, you are human. I am human. With all the skills that I've learned in counseling, I am human. So I get angry. But when I get angry, I regulate myself, self-regulation. And self-regulation comes with how do I manage my stress. Like, for example, this girl was right to be angry. It was very okay to be angry because assuming she asked for rice and fish, and dry fish and maybe some vegetables, let's assume, and the waiter brought rice, vegetables, and fish in soup. So she got angry because she didn't want fish in soup. She wanted a dry fish. So it was okay to get angry. It was very okay, very normal, because she's human.
Yes.
But how she managed herself, self-regulation is what messed everything. So self-regulation is another competence in emotional intelligence. How do I manage stress? How do I manage what comes in my way. Like for example, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, there is a student that committed suicide.
Yeah.
You heard about it in Mount Kenya University, and he said he jumped from 7th floor. And from the few things that people are saying, it's like it could have been a relational kind of stress.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it's being said, okay? But we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think
other news had it that he had eaten up all his school fees.
It's okay, whatever. Let's assume he had eaten up his school fees. So what was he going through? Stress.
Yes.
Because here I've taken up, I've squandered my school fees. I need to clear.
My girlfriend has dumped me.
Exactly. The exams are coming in.
Yeah.
What do I do? So he was under a lot of stress, which is okay because that was not an easy thing to handle.
Yeah.
But how he managed his stresses
was the problem.
And this is where self-regulation comes in. Yes, we will encounter challenging situations in life. We will go through very difficult moments in life. How do we self-regulate ourselves? How do we manage ourselves? There are people who will go through a very traumatic, a very disturbing, a very challenging situation and come out and life moves on for them. But there are those that will be swallowed by the whole scenario.
Pauline, look at the space you need to acquire and maintain this kind of a skill.
Yeah.
Because in all these examples and scenarios that you have given, you need some kind of a safe space to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy for this student to go and say, Dad, by the way, all the school fees you gave me, I have flushed them in the toilet, you know. And also, you took me to study, but instead, I was concentrating on a girl. I need to do my exams, but now I have not studied anything, you know. And at the same time, she's also dumped me, so I have double loss. How do you face your father or your parents or guardians and tell them such a thing in the race of acquiring emotional intelligence?
So, and that's why we are saying, like for example, and I'm urging even the viewers that are watching us this morning, we don't want to wait until we are in problems to start now getting to hear this and to run this emotional intelligence. It's an everyday thing. In fact, seminars are called. Nowadays, I'm really enjoying it because even preachers, even churches are just not teaching the word, preaching the word. They are calling even counselors in their pulpits to just teach their congregants some of these things that we are talking about.
You know, the African setup is such that we are not the ones who go for regular or planned or scheduled medical checkups. We are not the ones who go for just counseling and seminars, things like that. We are the ones who respond, you know, to problems. Until I get sick, why do I want to see a doctor? Why would I go for checkup, even if there's free screening? Why? I'm feeling nothing in my body. I mean, my relationships are okay. Why would I go and sit down to be cancelled on emotional intelligence, you know? I wonder what must happen to us to get to this level, you know? And back to my question on, what is there a safe space? Because for this person, like I said, it's not our culture to just go and find out what's wrong with my body, what's wrong with my emotions. I wait until I have issues. This person, do they still have a chance to even learn? Suppose they didn't die, you know? Suppose they were rescued. Do they have that safe space to talk about it and be sure that I have acquired this and I will keep it? And what is the safety that this man of the former relationship now have? Do they have assurance that if you go through these sessions for 2 months, for 3 months, then in the marriage I will have no problems? Or are they supposed to be living with fear?
Like for example, chances are there every day for us to learn new skills, to learn emotional intelligence, for example. Like I will tell you, I work closely with Mount Kenya University. Sometimes they'll call me to go and facilitate group therapies for their students, to psychoeducate their students. But I will tell you for a fact, Betty, it's for free. The university gives it for free. But I'm telling you, very few students will come in to learn this new skill. The choice. You remember me talking about the choice? It's a choice that I make because I want to be successful in life, and success comes with maintaining healthy relationships. It's a choice that I make. I need to get this skill. Going back to this young man, and you ask him, how could he face the father to tell him, you know, I spent the money, or I did ABCD, and I'm being chased out of school because of lack of school fees. If assuming the father is emotionally intelligent, it's not a good thing that you've done, but the father will listen and sit down to hear the son.
The father will sit down and listen.
And listen.
Not react fast.
Exactly. Because emotional intelligence pushes us to think before we react.
Okay.
So, yes, you've done a very grievous mistake. Squandering school fees, we can't sit here and talk about
borrowed.
it.
It's loan.
Exactly.
Yes.
But you will sit and listen. Before you reprimand, before you punish, you'll have listened.
That means as a father, you must also be emotionally intelligent.
Exactly. And that's what we are saying. It's not for mothers, it's not for fathers, it's not for husbands, it's for all of us. If we all need successful relationships, then we need to pursue emotional intelligence. Very, very true. So competences, we've talked about self-awareness, we've talked about empathy. Like for example, if this young man, let's use him, had attended a workshop that talked about emotional intelligence, he could have learned the empathy we are talking about. He could have imagined what the father is going through to bring this money together to pay for his school fees. He could have empathized with the dad. Instead of him squandering the money and entertaining the girlfriend, he could have imagined, my dad is going through a lot of stress to get this money. So self-awareness, empathy, self-regulation. The other one is self-motivation. How do you have fun? In my intake form in my office, this is one question I ask. What are your recreational interests? It's a question. I want to know my clients that are coming in, how do they recreate? And majority, I will tell you for a fact, either out of 20, it's only 1 or 2 who feels nicely without asking, what do you mean? Recreational interest. How do you have fun? So I explain is how do you have fun? And they are like, wow, do I really have fun? You know, for us to be emotionally intelligent, we need to have fun. We need to incorporate fun in our lives. How do you have fun? Maybe the way you have fun is different from me. Imagine this morning I was listening to a particular radio station, and they were talking about how Kenyans were going through a lot of stress because of the economic, the way the economy is. We don't have money, you know, the food has become very expensive, coronavirus is here, I don't know what. So a Kenyan back home is going through a lot of stress. Imagine we need to incorporate fun amidst all this stress. How do we go and release this stress?
You must tell us the last one because we have less than 5 minutes to go.
And then finally, the other one is effective relationships. Self-awareness, empathy, self-regulation, social and self-motivation, and then effective relationships, or social competencies. I was reading a study that was done in Harvard University in the US by the Adult Development Department, and they are saying, if you want to hit 80, work on your relationship before the age of 50. And
before 50.
Before 50.
Thank God we are not late.
Yes. And even if the viewer you are there and you've already hit 50 and above, you can still go on and work on your relationships. So once you're self-aware, you've regulated yourself, you've motivated yourself, you are empathizing with the people around you, then you have no other option than have effective relationships. That's the 5th competence. So these 5 competences make emotional intelligence, and they work hand in hand with each other. And once you have acquired this, then you can say that I'm emotionally intelligent.
I don't know whether there are any types, but that maybe skipped us, so that I know when you say you're emotionally intelligent and this person also insists that they're emotionally intelligent, then you are the same and there's no difference in terms of intelligence, you know, on that level. But it's possible to have someone with a very high IQ and the other person with a low IQ, but you both have emotional intelligence.
Yes.
I like that this is what makes relationships healthier, and
yes.
it makes the society and the family
Yeah.
a better place to be. I am so excited, Pauline,
And
that you
maybe
came.
very shortly,
Yeah.
we don't rate the same in emotional intelligence. There are those that have higher emotional intelligence, the medium, and there are those that are struggling. Just like IQ, it could be I'm struggling with empathy, and you are very good at it. That's why it won't be the same. But viewer, if you want to have successful relationships, if you want to succeed even in your life as a person, in your career, pursue emotional intelligence. It's the key to success.
Before they get 50.
Exactly.
And even those who are at 50, they can start.
They can start working. It's a choice that you make.
So they actually need to do an evaluation of their lives.
Yeah, and be that person who accepts feedback from the people around you. If you are not a person who really accepts feedback, then you're doomed. Accept feedback, negative criticism, accept it and reflect on yourself and ask yourself, why did she say I am A, B, C, D? Yeah.
You know, many times we like to defend ourselves and to protect our hearts from, you know, being hurt and being talked about and from gossip, you know. Like when people gossip about you, you know, you really want to find out like, hey, why? Don't they think and know that I am not that kind of a person around this special or anything like that? Do you think such kinds of people are really emotionally intelligent?
No, if you are so defensive, then you're not emotional intelligence, because we are saying you could have bright spots. But there could be things I see about you and you're not aware of them. So when I point them out, instead of being defensive, just take up responsibility. Ask yourself, why did Pauline say that I am rude? For example, wow, it's because maybe the way I answered. Why did I answer that way? Because I got angry. So you are doing a self-reflection and you're managing yourself. You are, in fact, regulating yourself.
So withdrawing is not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
It's not for the emotionally intelligent.
No. In fact, taking up responsibility is emotionally intelligent.
Taking up responsibility.
Yes.
As in, you have been accused, but there you are. You don't stand to defend yourself. You still handle this issue.
Yes.
Even as an intelligent person.
And it could be a wrong accusation, but before you defend, you have taken a place whereby you're thinking, why did they say A, B, C, D?
I wonder what your parting shot is at this time.
Mine is just from this guy called Robert from Harvard University. He's saying, if you want to hit 80, healthy and happier, by the way, healthy and happier, work on your relationships by the age of 50. If you have hit 50 and above and maybe you are struggling in your relationships, it's never too late. It's never too late. Life is about choices. Make the right choices, pursue emotional intelligence, and I agree and I assure you that you're going to be successful in your relationships, in your workplace, in your parenting, and you will hit 80 healthy and happier.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Pauline.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Viewer, thank you so much for watching Chungu cha Jamii today. We have had such an exciting time learning about the most important part of our lives, and that is emotional intelligence. I hope that you can listen to this again on our Facebook and YouTube channel. My name is Betty Akuku. I have been your host. Stay well.